Wow.
When my spiritual father someday he asked me about my husband presently, he was like, Abigail, will you like to marry Evie? I'm like, Daddy, God forbid. God forbid.
God forbid, no, no.
Seriously. I'm like, Daddy, God
Oh my
forbid.
God.
That's my brother. He's like a
Eh?
brother to me. Ah.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ayodele Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. For a new subscriber, you know I love you, you know I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always and always coming back. Okay, so today I have a very interesting episode. Welcome to another episode of the Unashamed series. I am really excited. Thank you guys so very much for as many who have been a part of this series, as many who have shared their stories, for your love, for your comments. I truly appreciate you guys. Okay, so today I have Abigail here with me on the channel, and we have a very interesting conversation that we'll be having about marriage, about life partner, choosing your life partner and stuff like that. You guys know on this channel I always, you know, my aim is to ensure that everyone has a beautiful, you know, relationship that ends up leading into marriage, and I think that the story we're about to hear today is just it's quite common, right, from a lot of married people. I think even I can relate to it in a way, and yes, I'm pretty excited for this episode. So without talking too much, I have Abigail here. She is a YouTuber here. Her channel is Abigail H. Abigail H, right?
Abigail B.
B, sorry, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Okay.
So it's Abigail B. I'm going to leave it below. I will also leave it linked in the description box below. You guys make sure to check out her channel. Yes, she's a married Christian YouTuber, and she's here to share with us our own journey into becoming a married Christian, a married woman, meeting her husband, and all of that. So, Abigail, the floor is yours. Maybe you should start us up with a little introduction. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Anything you want us to know about you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Victoria. I'm so grateful for this opportunity given to me to share my experience today with your subscribers and to everyone watching this video. Yeah. So my name is Ewan Abigail B. My husband's name is Ewan. I am Abigail B. So I am married. I'm a new YouTuber. I just started YouTube a few weeks ago. I'm a health and safety officer, and I'm also into wigs. I also sell wigs as well. So
Nice.
I'm happy to share my experience today to everyone.
And you are in Cameroon. I think you are the first for I would say someone out of Nigeria, or first non-Nigerian that I've had on this
Oh,
channel.
wow.
Are you originally from Cameroon?
Yes, I'm a Cameroonian. I hail from the northwest
nice.
region.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome. Okay, thank you so much for that introduction.
Thank you.
All right, so of course I know a little bit about your story, but I want you to share with us. I know the importance of the story. So, but before we get into that, can you tell us, you know, your own journey? Let's start from, you know, your single times and all of that, your
Okay.
desires, meeting your husband and stuff like
Okay.
that. So yeah, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so 2021, I was praying for a life partner. That was during the Lent season. I had 3 prayer points which I was praying about, and the first was for a life partner. Then I was praying. At that time, I was going to school. I was doing a certification program, and then I was also praying that I get a promotion at work. So I had 3 prayer points at that time, and so I had this guy. I'll call him this guy at that time. I had this guy whom we were friends. Of course, we met in church. We were friends. He was a leader in church. He was the leader of the youth of, for those who are in Cameroon, you know, Douala Central. So he was the president of the youth of Douala Central of our church. So we were friends, and also at that time I was also a leader, but leading under him. So we're really good friends, we're close. We would always meet during our leaders' meeting. And it's amazing that during our meetings, I'm one of those whom we really never had the same idea during our meetings. I always oppose what he has to say, and he will always oppose what I have to say in the meeting. In fact, when there is a point that comes from him, it's a no for me. And when there's a point that comes from me, is a no for him. So that was how we were. But after the meetings, we continue our friendship. And sometimes the way the meeting is going to end is going to determine the way we move from our leaders meeting. Probably I'll get back home, not get to him, or if he tries to get to me, I'm not going to call him, or I'm not going to pick his call. Kind of angry because of maybe my point was rejected, or he didn't really consider my point, or that kind of thing. Yes, so we're good friends. And I'm like, bro, are you not thinking about settling down? He's like, I'm thinking about it, but I've really not had anybody. I'm like, what about this sister? I'll give recommendations. Like, there is this sister, there is that sister. That's how we're just friends.
So let us start. I want you to just take us back a little bit, right?
Alright.
So you were trusting God for a life partner. You've been praying for that.
Yes.
Have you had relationships in the past before, before this particular guy that you're talking to us about?
Okay.
What was your mindset about, relationship, getting married? Were you under pressure? Like, I want you to, before we get into like the main story and how everything happened, do you want to like just tell us about your own journey from singleness, right?
Yes.
Your mindset, your relationship, your work with God and stuff like that. Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so I wasn't under any form of pressure. I'm a twin, and my twin sister got married in 2018. And it's actually in 2018 that I also ended my relationship, or the relationship in which I was in. So before I met my husband, I was in a relationship, and our families knew each other. In fact, we're planning to settle down. Yes. So things did not, at some point, things became kind of slow. The brother in question was just not saying anything, and I felt like
He was not saying anything.
Yes.
Like his commitment towards you was like
it had
reducing.
dropped. Yes, it had dropped. So I started seeing the red flags. I was like, okay, it's better to find my way out quick enough. Yes. So that was in 2018, yeah, that I came to an end with that relationship. So I wasn't under any form of pressure. At that time, even August 3rd, my twin sister got married. So I personally don't believe in pressure when it comes to marriage. That's because I am conscious of the fact that it is me who is going to stay with the person and nobody else. So if I have to depend on people telling me it's time and all or not, at the end of the day, if I make the wrong choice, nobody is going to be there to cry with me. I'm going to cry all alone and feel my pain alone. So it is better for me to wait on God's time, and when God says this is the time, I go by it. Yes.
So what were the specifics? Like, I know that we're humans, right? We all want certain things from our partner, right?
Yes.
What would you say that as a single person now, no judgment zone here, like what would you say that were the things that you were looking for, that you're at that time you thought this is the kind of person that I want to be with?
So at that time I had 3 things which I needed from a man. I needed a God-fearing man, a child of God. I needed a man who is responsible and a man who is teachable. Those were the 3 things I needed at that time. Yes.
There was not, you weren't looking at anything physical, like that wasn't
physical. I had really never thought about physical, because I remember in primary school in primary school I was like, I want to marry a tall person. I don't want a short person. But my previous
Okay.
relationship, this guy was short. So at that time, I'm
I know,
like,
I
no,
know,
physical.
I know that feeling too. I used to also be a person that, it's always a tall person because I am tall, right? So,
Yes.
and I remember like the person I dated before my husband, the one who also gave me breakfast, he was a very short guy. So when I see sometimes like when we say this is it, when you fall in love, sometimes you don't really realize
Yeah.
what's the kind of
Yeah.
things that you end up compromising
That's
on.
right.
But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting to hear. Yeah. All right. So then you met this guy. You guys are friends and everything. What was it about him that did not make you think that this could be somebody that is worth pursuing a relationship with?
Okay.
Did you ever have a feeling at certain points for him? And if not, why? Like, and if you did, or what could have prevented you from pursuing it?
Wow, this is a beautiful question. It's going to actually reveal something or some
Okay.
thoughts which I had prior to
Okay.
getting married. I used to think that I cannot marry my friend, I cannot marry my colleague, I cannot marry my neighbor, I cannot marry
Wow.
a brother in my church, that kind of, because I was like, no, I consider that person to be a brother. So I had never desired to marry my friend until
Wow.
when my spiritual father someday he asked me about my husband presently. He was like, Abigail, will you like to marry Evie? I'm like, Daddy, God forbid. God forbid.
God forbid, no.
Seriously. I'm like, Daddy, God
Oh my
forbid.
God.
That's my brother. He's like a brother to me. He looked at me like that. He told me that, where am I coming from with this grandmother mentality? I'm like, Daddy, no. I'm really too close with him. I cannot marry him. He's like a brother to me. He told me that, do you know that that's the person you should marry? That was around
Yeah.
2019. That was around 2019. He's like,
Okay.
I should instead consider getting married to a friend rather than getting married to someone I don't know, because with a friend we have been together, we've been vulnerable. Like, it's not somebody who comes to you and is like, I would like us to get married. At that time you will not see every attitude of his, because naturally the human beings can hide some things because they want to achieve something. So he was like, get somebody who is a friend to you. I told him that, no, Daddy. I refused. So after I refused, he told me that I'm going to take a 5 months counseling with him. And that is how it started. He started sending me videos of Reverend Funke. He gave me books to read. And that is how I got to see the importance of getting married to a friend. And from that time, I started desiring getting married to my friend.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So there was nothing. So, okay, well, tell us about the story. Let's continue. So he asked you to come on, to go out or something.
Yes, so he requested that we talk. And I was asking him, have you found somebody, this one that you like us to talk like that? He was
so
like,
wait,
no.
At this point in time, you did not sense any signal that was going to happen, and you did not feel any sort of attraction towards him?
I did not feel any form of attraction, but I started sensing some kind of special treatment. Like, he'll wake up in the morning, call, he's going to check on me during the day, all those kind of things. I even had to share with my spiritual father. He was like, this uncle is seeing vision. Yes.
Okay.
So when he said he wanted us to talk, I spoke to my spiritual father. He was like, okay, that's fine. I started, but I really did not, how can I put it? I wasn't very sure. Let me put it this way. Yes, I really wasn't too sure that it is what I am thinking. And I also did not want to put myself in a situation where I'm thinking that maybe he wants to talk to me, and that's not the case. So
and it doesn't happen.
Yes, I just did not want to put myself in that kind of scenario. So I was just like, okay, fine. So we agreed on meeting on Monday. Easter was on Sunday. Then the next day, Monday, we agreed on meeting. So he came over to my place. I refused on going out. So I proposed that we meet at my place. So he came over. We had time. We discussed our casual discussions like we always do. I even made food, gave him. We discussed, and then later on, I'm like, brother, what is it that you want us to talk? He's like, I'm very sorry. I want to beg that whatever I'm going to say, don't take offense about it. Please, even if you have to say no, this friendship is precious to me than anything. So please don't take offense. I know that you could get angry, but just keep talking to me. Don't block me or don't take offense of it or reject me. I'm like, what is it that you want to say? It's okay, go ahead, say it. So that's when he says, I want to marry you. I'm like, He said, I want to marry you. He went straight to the point, like he didn't go around. It was like, I want to marry you, and I want to marry you in September.
Wow.
That was
I like that. A guy that knows what he wants.
See, that was in April.
Yeah.
April 20. That was in April. Yeah, that was in April. April 5th. That was in April 5th. And then he's telling me he wants 2021. He says that he wants to marry me in September 2021. I'm like,
wow.
I just looked at him. I was like, until you have decided on when to marry me, unlike I was before. And one thing I will also say that I'm thankful to God is that he's one of those. I used to be very strict or very hard with men. I grew up really too hard with men, and he's one of those who will always tell me, Abigail, you're too hard. You can if somebody, because he knows the people who might have asked me out and all not, so he knows my attitude really well. He will tell me that no, you don't go to that extent of you seeing the person, you don't greet the person on the road because so
they asked you out.
He will always, because they asked me out. And after he said what he said, I held his hand, we prayed, and I told him that I'm not going to give you any answer now. Give me some time to pray about it. I'll give you feedback around the 20. I think I told him 28th of April. Okay. I'm going to give you feedback. So 28th of April came and he was like, have you prayed about it and what's your feedback? I'm like, I prayed about it and my answer is a no.
Okay. Did you really pray about it?
I actually did not even pray about it. Because my anger was already a no. Like I felt like, but
why? What was it about him that did not want you? That didn't make you want to be with him?
There was actually nothing. There was nothing. So after I told him that, okay, my answer is a no, he's like, I'm not going to put you under any form of pressure. Please just take your time, think about it, pray about it, and you get back to me. That was what he said. We discussed like that, and then I got back home that same day. I just went on my knees and I got into prayers. I prayed, and while I was praying, I got into a trance, and the Holy Spirit was asking me that, what were your prayer topics during this Lent season? I named those prayer topics, and he asked me, you prayed for a husband, right? I said yes. He said, now that the husband is there, why are you refusing her? I said, child, God, the one a bad joke now. I'm like, what's the meaning of this? I actually woke up. I woke up I'm like, what is the meaning of this? And then from there, I started developing feelings for him. I spoke with my spiritual father. My spiritual father, he told me that he had no issue. He prayed. I got to a few persons to join me in prayers. So I got to them. Everybody was like, it's okay. I have no issue. I took time again. I now prayed about it, like really, really. That desire was increasing and increasing. So on the 1st of May, I'm like, I have an answer for you. So that's how I gave him an answer. And then, yeah.
That's interesting. You know, your story really, really reminds me of someone, you know, that I know. And it's like you're recounting her life story, you know, because funny enough, I was just talking to a friend of mine who I'll be doing a video with also soon. Okay. She's also a twin, and she also, you know, what you said initially about, you know, her not being under pressure because her sister is married. We literally were just having this conversation before this video. Her sister is married with kids, and she just feels like when it's time, right? And you know, I think that's very that to me was like eye-opening. But I also know, and I know the difficulty that comes with marrying your friend. If you've been following my channel, you know I'm a preacher of marry your friend. Marry within your friends and pick someone to marry, because it's easier when you're friends. And I really love that you had that person, like your mentor or your pastor, who gave you godly counsel in that area, because trust me, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know, just like, you know, the popular saying, right? But I think what the counsel he gave you was like really, really accurate. But this friend, I'm telling you, you know, it's the asking, and I could relate with your husband, like asking your friend out, the fear of losing that friendship. What if she says no? What if it doesn't work out and stuff like that? I will end up losing my friendship with you and all of that. And I know that I don't know who might be in that situation watching this video. Like, it's, to be honest, it's better to know, right? I don't know why asking. I understand how difficult it can be, and the fear of them saying no, the fear of losing your friendship, the fear of, you know, things not going back to the way it was. But to be honest, it is better than living your life never knowing, right? Because I know people that because of fear of asking, they end up not doing it, but they spend their life wondering, what if I'd asked her? How about what if I, you know, what if she had said yes? How, you know? But you would never know until you actually make that move. And I really love the way your husband came and told you that, listen, I don't want to lose this friendship and this and that, but this is what I think. So I think that's really, really great. And I'm hoping that if that's my friend is watching this video, she takes a cue from this. Anyway, so that is an aside, right? So what would you say that you would consider like the moral of this story? What would you say that you want people to like get from, you know, your own journey, your own story, and that?
The very first thing I want everyone to pick out is the fact that often we pray to God about something, or let me just go to the point of a life partner, but the partner is just around, but probably because we have imaginations of what we have, and we don't even consider what God has for us. I'll put it this way, because I was praying for a life partner, the life partner was there, and probably I would have gotten married even since if I had considered getting married to a friend. So if you pray, don't look too far. The person is just around you.
I really love the point about what you're praying for is mostly right about your circle, right in your corner. You know, it's right there. And you know, I also love what you talked about. You know, sometimes when we are praying and desiring something, most times we have a mindset of how we want God to answer the prayer. So when I'm praying for a life partner, in my mind I'm praying like, God, I want him to be this and this and that. I want, you know, we are telling God how we want it to be, but we're not really, you know, listening to see or to listen or to open our eyes to see what God is actually showing to us or trying to reveal to us, right? So sometimes, and I hope those who are watching, you can also learn a thing or two, maybe, just maybe, the Mr. Right or Mrs. Right is right around your corner somewhere, right? Or maybe they are scared of telling you, or and you also mentioned something about you used to be very hard on people, and I know that a lot of guys find that very, very intimidating, right? So you could be watching, I don't know, I know that I had a friend like that. Thankfully she's no longer like that, right? That any small thing when it comes to relationships, she's really, who are you to come and ask me out and stuff like that. If she doesn't like you, it's always like, how dare you get that, you don't want to have that attitude, right? Even if you don't feel the same way, give grace. And a lot of people, because you're not attracted at the first time, look at what you said. When you started praying about it, God gave you confirmation. You started to feel attraction. You see, attraction is not necessarily something that would happen. It's not everybody that falls in love at first sight, right? I said when I met my husband, I wasn't attracted to him. But the more we got to know each other, the more we got to talk to each other, the more, I start to see him in that light. And you see, it's even more tricky when the person is your friend, because your mindset, every time you envision this person, you always see this person as a brother like you, or as a friend and stuff like that. So trying to transition that friend to a romantic side of relationship, it might take a while, but you have to at least give it a try, give it an opportunity, give grace, right? And you never can tell, something beautiful can always come out of that thing that you think was never. I remember that the Bible says that God hides treasure in earthen vessel, right? The outside doesn't really look so good, but in the inside, that's where God places his treasure in. So be very mindful of judging people from the outward appearance, and also be very mindful of writing people off because of what you know about them, because trust me, the person you know today can be totally different from who you know who the person will be tomorrow. Nobody knows the future, only God, right? So yes, I hope that this has been encouraging to you guys. Thank you so much, Abigail, for sharing your story. How long have you been married for?
I've been married for about 18 months.
Nice. Okay. That's awesome, right? So I wish you the very best in your marriage. I pray that you guys continue to enjoy the bliss, the peace, the joy, happiness, in your marriage, and everything that you desire, God will grant unto you. And for you guys who are watching, I hope you've learned something from this video. Don't write people off. The person that you least thought about might actually be the person that God has prepared for you, but because of your mindset and your ideologies of who your right man is supposed to be, or your right woman is supposed to be, you are missing out on God's best. And trust me, God will not keep the person forever. Somebody else might come and carry the person away, right? And you have to settle for something else, right? So anyways, look around your circle and see who could be the potential partner for me. All right, thank you guys so very much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Remember to like this video, to leave a comment, let me know what you think. Remember to subscribe to this channel. Also remember to go to Abigail's channel. It's also, I'll link it in the description box below. Make sure you go and support her channel. Thank you guys so much again, and thank you so much, Abigail. Until we meet again, I still remain your favorite girl, Victoria. Have an amazing week. Okay, bye.